Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 156. The album that we're reviewing today is Jeru The Damaja's second album, Rap for the Math, released in 1996. By now, you guys should know who he is. I did a review on his first album a couple months ago. Check it out. Just type in Jeru and it should pop up. The Sunrise in the East album review that I did. Right after that album, he appeared on a couple of other projects. He appeared on a song called Return of the Crooklyn Dodgers, which was featured on the Clarkin soundtrack. Classic song right there, dope posse cut, OC, Jeru, and Chubb Rock. I think Chubb Rock, he had like one of the most memorable verses on that song, in my opinion. Especially when he says, Vietnam vets look like one of our pets. Like, that's some real shit, you know what I mean? But anyways, he was featured on that. He was featured on a song called 1-2 Pass, which was a posse cut off the D&D Project compilation album that came out in 95. That's a dope track. That was also produced by DJ Premier. He was also featured on a song called When I Flow, which was a song by Walking Large, which is a hip-hop group from Germany. It's actually pretty dope. And then, throughout 95, he was working on the album, and then this album came about, and this is how this album came about, and eventually dropped in 1996, alright? So, there's two singles off the album. The singles are Me or the Papes and You're Playing Yourself. Those are the two singles off the album, alright? Production is done all by DJ Premier or Primo, you know what I mean? So, you know how I get down. I'm going to show you what the album looks like before I get into the album. Yellow CD right here. Then see a picture of Jeru, like an animated version of Jeru with the Star of David in the back. I'm pretty sure you guys seen this picture before, but yeah, pretty dope. Especially like around the early 2000s when the days of Kazaa, when you downloaded music videos, you would see like pictures like that, things like that. So, but anyways, getting off topic. Jeru right here. Let me change this. Alright, sorry about that. See Jeru, dressed up like in a monk, attire, looking like a sorcerer. You see like the sorcerer ball, whatever you call that right there. Looks pretty dope. You see Jeru just looking at the niggas, just drilling. You see Afu Ra in the background. Because, they used to roll with each other back in the day. But Jeru's just sitting down, looking at something. See Afu Ra smoking a spliff, you know what I mean? See the track listing. See Jeru right here, his face. See Jeru without his hat, you see his dreads. You see the back of his head, pretty dope. Jeru right here looking like a sorcerer once again. It's a dope effect right there. You see Afu Ra, just posing, like as if he has a gun. Alright, it's the back of it. What the back of the album looks like. Alright. You know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the tracks. Alright. Track 1 is Rap for the Math. That's just the intro. It's just Jeru talking over an instrumental. You know what I mean? Pretty cool. Track 2, The Frustrated Nigga. There's a pretty dope track right there. He talks about, the injustice of the government, just how they treat black people. Not just black people, but in just minorities, but in more so black people. Because, if you listen to Jeru's older stuff, like, Sunrise in the East, he's all about black empowerment. He has like some 5% rhetorics in his rhymes and stuff like that. So, and that's what he talks about. He talks about stuff like that, and he's just saying like one thing they can't take away from us is our knowledge. You know what I mean? So, and that's what he talks about in The Frustrated Nigga. That's track 2. Track 3, Black Cowboys. That's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty dope track right there. In that song, he throws shots at the Fugees, and the reason why is because there was because with the song The Bitches off the first album, the Fugees, Jeru's album, his first album when he made the song The Bitches, the Fugees, they felt some type of way So in their second album, The Score, they made a song called Zealots. And what was his Pras, he made a line where he says like no matter who you damage, you still face no what he say? No matter who you damage, you still a false prophet. So he said, so you feel some type of way about that. And then he had a line where he says, some MCs want to bring it, but a female is one of their strongest men. When I step to you, you don't seek refuge. So, that right there, obviously, he's talking about the Fugees. And then he also criticized, MCs going commercial, like trying to get fame and stuff like that. And that's one thing about this album, like, that's like the central theme of the whole album. And I'll get into that later on, things like that. And then you got track 4, The Bullshit. And it's just talk about, it's kind of like the same thing, like a lot of MCs compromising their style to go commercials to just get recognition, things like that. I've mentioned that before, like, cats just, suffering from the bad boy syndrome, you know what I mean, where like they will follow the Biggie, outlook, and then, it doesn't work for them. And that's pretty much what he talks about with The Bullshit. And just about the radios, it's not supporting dope hip hop, real MCs, it's real hip hop, things like that. Track 5, Whatever, one of my favorite tracks off the album. He kind of throws a shot at Blase Blase, the group from East New York, which features MC Out Loud and PF Cuttin as the DJ and the producer. Realistically, MC Out Loud, just throwing shots at him because he's saying like how he kind of like bit his old style and stuff like that. And when you listen to it, like, I wouldn't say he bit it, but he's definitely influential. He was definitely influenced by Jeru. Just like they have like similar cadences, the way they rap and things like that. But I have to do a review on that album, the Blah 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 album. I have to do a review on that one day. I'm not sure when, but whatever. Uses the same sample as LL Cool J's Pink Cookies Getting Crushed, the Easy Mo B remix, and the Give Up the Goods by Mobb Deep, using the Esther Phillips sample. Alright, that's track 5, that's one of my favorites. Track 6, Physical Stamina, that features Afro Ra. It's a sequel to the song Mental Stamina that was on the first album. That song was, to me, one of the weaker tracks, and not lyrical wise, but the beat. I feel like the beat could have been a little bit better. It was kind of weak in my opinion. I just feel like with a song like that, it would have had a better beat. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Physical Stamina, that's track 6. Track 7, One Day. In this song, he takes shots at Foxy Brown, Puffy or Diddy, or whatever you want to call him, and Jay Black. You know what I mean? He talks about that. He's just throwing shots at them. And he had a line where he said, I peeped Foxy Brown sipping on Cristal in the background with fake alligator boots on. So obviously, he's taking shots at Foxy Brown, even though Foxy Brown wasn't part of Bad Boy Records, but she she was messing with Jay-Z and Biggie and stuff like that. And then like that whole Bad Boy, that whole Brooklyn connection that was going on at that time. So obviously they shot back at them and stuff like that. But I'll talk about that later. But that's what started the beef with Jeru The Damaja and Biggie and stuff like that. All right. And then you got track 8, Revenge of the Prophet, part 5, which is the sequel to what's that song? Is You Can't Stop the Prophet. It's a sequel to that song. Dope beat, one of my favorite joints off the album, just like Whatever. But my only gripe with the song, well, not the song itself, but whatever happened to the part 2, 3, and 4? What happened to the rest of them? I don't know if like he made them, but then I think maybe they were like over different beats or something. It was like his 5th time doing it. I don't know. I would like to know if anybody knows Jeru personally. Let me know what that song was about. Like, why is it he had part 5? What happened to the other 3? But yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so that's Revenge of the Prophet. Dope storyline right there. Dope story track. Track nine, Scientifical Madness. You know, there's a song where he talks about the ills of the world. He compares like the evils, the people that have evil behavior, whether you know you're a killer or a drug dealer, is he's comparing that as being affected by chemical warfare, and the way he did it was pretty dope. That was a dope track. I mean, that was a dope concept. Like that's what I got from that Scientifical Madness. Then you got track 10. You know, he it's called Not the Average. You know, it's where he's talking about. You know, he's just like it's a girl track pretty much, and it's just saying like just expressing himself like how he's not like every nigga. Like I'm not the average dude, man. Like cause you know how it is. You know, you got cats that that try to be players. You know, just try to acting like somebody that they're not. Just trying to get skins, just trying to get pussy, and he's not that type of dude. He has a line where I think in the first verse he talks about he meets this girl, and when they're about to get it in, you know he pulls out a condom, and you know the girl's like, yo, what are you doing? It's like, yo, well, I'm trying to practice safe sex. I ain't trying to catch no diseases or not trying to get you pregnant. And she says like, yo, most cats um that fuck me just obviously not me, I ain't gay, I mean nothing against gay people, but I'm just saying what she said. But anyways, she's like, people that have sex with me usually go raw dog, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, that ain't me. And then he's just saying like how he's a good dude, but he ain't no sucker too. Like, so is what he's saying is like he's assertive, like he's nice, but he's assertive. He ain't no sucker, like he ain't no simp or anything like that. And that's what he talks about with Not the Average. That's track 10. Track 11, Me or the Papes, which I believe was the second single of the album. You know, he addresses the critics, the song that he addresses the critics that had problems with the song The Bitches. This is pretty much him saying like, yo, I always felt like this was like more like a sequel to The Bitches in a sense, which is saying like, yo, I'm not saying that all women are bitches. It's just you got some women that take advantage of people that only go for you because if you have fame or if you have money, and that's what he talks about. And then he kind of throws shots at Diddy where he says like, I ain't Puff, I ain't got loot to waste. So he's throwing shots at Puffy and stuff like that. And that's Me or the Papes. The remix is dope too. I think it's I forgot the name of the. I forgot the name. It's another title. I think it's called Me Not the Papes. Some shit like that. I'll post it down in the description box, but I like that version over this version, but that's just my opinion. Track 12. It's called How I'm Living. It's a dope beat. It's a very dark beat, but it's a sexual track. It's a sex track, but he mixes it with braggadocious lyrics. It's kind of a weird track, and the reason why I say that is because he's sort of about getting pussy or whatever. Just him like bragging about how much of a pimp he is, but the instrumental doesn't fit the subject matter, if that makes sense. I thought that was kind of weird, but I do like the beat, and it's a dope song, but I just thought that was kind of weird. Track 13, Too Perverted, pretty dope track. It's a braggadocio track. I mean, it's a dope beat, really dope right there. Track 14, You're Playing Yourself, which I believe was the first single off the album. It uses the same sample as Junior Mafia's Players Anthem, and I always felt that was kind of subliminal as far as like the beef and stuff like that. Just them flipping the same sample, and them criticize, throwing shots at Bad Boy Records and stuff like that. But he's just, just throwing shots at Bad Boy Records, just saying like how they're responsible for the commercialism in hip hop music at that time, because everything was getting more glitzy. They were still sampling, but it was like more like they were sampling like top 40, 80 joints and stuff like that, and that was the norm at that time. Like the whole Trackmaster sound, he was kind of criticizing that shit. And I thought that was pretty interesting, and that's what made, like I said, Biggie, kind of those shots at Jeru. All right. And then you got the last track, Invasion. It talks about police brutality, and that song is actually featured on Volume 2 of the New Jersey Drive soundtrack. Very dope soundtrack. Love that joint. Yeah, man, and that's pretty much it. My overall thoughts on this album, I thought it was cool, but I felt like the production was a little bit lackluster, especially for Primo. It wasn't as strong. It was a good album. Some of the beats were dope. Some of them were kind of could have done without some of them. I thought they could have been better. You know, it wasn't as strong as the first album, because the first album was like more dirty. It was more in your face, like come with full force. You know what I mean? And I think with this album, you didn't really get that with this album. Yeah, and I felt, and a lot of things. Another thing too with this album, I feel like he could have come with more conceptual tracks. You know, it was too much of like, you know, complaining about the radio, about the commercial. Like, we all know that, but you know, I think he focused way too much on that. And you know, it sounds a little. I understand his frustration, but it's like it comes as almost like bitter in a sense. But I do understand why he had his frustrations and things like that. And unfortunately, this was the last time that Primo and Jeru worked together, and it's because there was a situation where, you know, Jeru had made a song called he made a promo track for Hot 97, and which uses the instrumental for 10 Crack Commandments. That was a Jeru song first, but then I guess Puffy, he went to Hot 97, he heard the beat, he's like, yo, I like that beat, I want that joint. So he contacted Primo, and he got the song. I mean, he got the beat from Puffy and stuff like that. And you know, that is what kind of like, you know, it was like one of the reasons why they had a falling out and things like that. Also too, Biggie had made a song called "Kicking the Door," and he went at Jeru, and he went at Primo and stuff like that. So that kind of caused a little friction with Jeru and DJ Premier. And there was a lot of other personal stuff, like, you know, it has something to do with a girl. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't want to put rumors out like that, but it has some. I heard it has something to do with a girl. I'm not sure how true that is, but yeah, man. And that was just my only thing with this album. I just felt like it could have been more conceptual tracks, you know, things like that. I feel like some of the beats could have been a little bit better, but like I said, it's a decent album. It's not his best album. I feel like Sunrise in the East was his best album. That's just my opinion. But you know how I get down. Hope you guys enjoyed that review. Stay tuned for more. Oh, and by the way, I've been noticing a pattern with some people. I know some of you guys been asking me to review certain albums, and I will get to them. But please, like, if you're gonna, you know, I understand you want me to review certain albums, but at least talk about the album, the review, like the album, what you thought about the album, and then put, you know, and then you put the, you know, what you want me to review and stuff like that. Because I don't know, I work hard doing this. It's not easy doing what I do. You know what I mean? I put in a lot of time, you know, dedication, just writing down, you know, the thoughts and things like that. I don't know, that's just my opinion, but you know, it is what it is. But hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more videos. Peace.